We got more MLB the Show 22 news coming your way. Face of the franchise yesterday was confirmed to be back, and today we're starting to get face of the franchise reveals for MLB the Show 22. So as these cards get revealed, I figured I'd come along and let's see if we can predict every single face of the franchise card we're going to be getting in MLB the Show 22. There's going to be part of Team Affinity 1 or the new featured program. We don't really know how that is all going to break down. They mentioned Team Affinity. They mentioned a new feature program type of thing. So we don't really know the breakdown of these, but we can presume there's going to be one for every single team. We can see the Show Nation's landing page has one for every team available. They're going to be revealed probably throughout this next week leading up. It will be the Show 22's launch on Friday, less than a week away. Cannot believe that. At the time of this recording, we've had 4 revealed so far, 3 in the AL East, and then that Acuna from yesterday. So by the time you're watching this, probably 2 other of the AL East cards are already revealed, but we'll still go through and throw our predictions on those before they do get revealed. Starting with the Orioles here, we'll take a look at Cedric Mullins. He's already confirmed to be in the game. 86 is where his live series diamond ended last year. We take a look at Cedric. We know he's got the glitchiest of swings. A 90 overall Cedric Mullins day 1 is going to be an absolute menace to society. You will want that card on your team. Probably take these hitting attributes. Maybe go 95 contact right, around the 90 power right, contact and power left. Probably around that 80 to 85 range for a 90 overall. He's going to have decent fielding. Going to be pretty fast. Not going to have much arm. Cedric Mullins, though, gonna be insane. If you know about him, you know about him. On to the Red Sox again. At the time of this recording, we don't know who it is, but we know the Red Sox got a couple options. Could it be Devers? Maybe even the newly acquired Trevor Story. Personally, for me, I think it's gonna be Xander Bogaerts. He's been around that Red Sox team for a while. A lot of people view him as the face of the Red Sox. Him, Chris Sale, Devers, probably the 3 options in my opinion. But give me a day 1 90 overall Xander Bogaerts. I loved these Bogart cards. I mean, I'm batting 500 in 72 plate appearances with this live series Xander. So give me a 90 Xander out the gate. We're going to be cooking with fire. Not going to be a great defensive player, but going to be absolutely cracked out with the bat. And one thing to know as we're going through, I am going to pull up these guys' live series cards if y'all seen. That's just to give you an idea of kind of the archetype that they're going to follow. You can expect these face of the franchise cards to look similar to these live series, just a little bit more juiced. On to the Yankees. Like it or not, a 90 overall Aroldis Chapman is coming day 1. That much is confirmed. We're going to be seeing this card like all year, I imagine. Chapman, I can't hit him, but supposedly, I don't remember, but supposedly he does have a new release this year that makes him a lot easier to pick up. Hopefully that's the case, because if not, 90 overall live series Chapman day 1 is going to be insane, especially with assuming he's going to have outlier. Chapman is going to be an issue. Another one here already confirmed onto the Rays, Wander Franco. I loved the future star Wander last year in that inning program. Was my shortstop for quite some time. And I'm a big switch hitter guy. Give me all the switch hitters. Wander here, we know he's going to be a 90 overall. Keep him with that contact left. And juice up his power numbers a little bit. And he could be a nasty switch hitting shortstop day 1. I've always been a big Lindor guy out the gate back when his live series was an early diamond. That used to be my go-to shortstop day 1. I think this year is going to be this 90 overall Wander. He's going to be sick. On to the Blue Jays, I'm looking for Bichette to be the Blue Jays face of the franchise. Obviously, Vlad Jr. would be an option. I imagine Vlad Jr.'s live series card is going to be close to that 90 overall threshold. So for that reason, I'm thinking we're going to get a Bichette. And I do love me Bichette cards. His finest this year is my shortstop right now. He's absolutely twisted with it. He's going to crush lefties, be serviceable versus righties, especially early game. Could be another dominant top-tier shortstop option out the gate in MLB the Show 22. On to the White Sox. Got a couple options. Lance Lynn, Lou Bob, Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, Grandal. Lots of really good players on the White Sox. I'm going to go with Jose Abreu, though. I was going to kind of lean it towards Tim Anderson, but we've already just said 2 more shortstops in the AL East. So let's give us a first baseman here in this program. Give me a 90 overall Jose Abreu. Got to be one of the best power hitters in the game early on if he gets this card. On to the Guardians now. No longer the Indians. I'm not asking or predicting for a Jose Ramirez. I'm demanding a Jose Ramirez. I need a 90 overall switch hitting third baseman in the game day 1. Jose Ramirez maybe has my favorite swing in the entire game. It is stupid quick for me. I love J-Ram cards. Give me a cracked out J-Ram day one to throw on my squad. And honestly, that card would be sticking around for some time. That would be a card I get P5. Absolutely. I need a Jose Ramirez, please. On to the Tigers now, looking at one of the greatest Tigers of all time. This one seems like a pretty obvious option for me. Miguel Cabrera obviously could be a Javi Baez as well. I don't know if they'd really be throwing guys on as face of the franchise who have not played a game for those players, but certainly possible. But I think Miggy is going to be the option here. A nice 90 overall Miggy card out the gate could be a pretty solid option at first base. On to the Royals now. There's only one option. It's Salvador Perez. Those are the rules. If we have a team affinity, if it's using current day players, if we're talking about the Royals, the answer is Sal Perez. On to the next one. We already have one glitchy center fielder in Mullins. I need a second one. For the Twins, give me a 90 overall Byron Buxton out the gate. Let's go. I love it. The player of the month, Buxton, last year. Straight up, you could still use that card today, and he's nasty. I don't care what anyone says. Buxton cards are absolutely insane. He's a fan favorite, no doubt. He's an MLB the Show favorite. This could be Carlos Correa, I assume, now that they gave him that mega deal. But in terms of faces of the franchise, I feel like Buxton encompasses that for the Twins so much more. And I'm rooting for a 90 Buxton available day one. On to the Astros now. I would like a Kyle Tucker or Yordan Alvarez, but for some reason, we haven't had any other second baseman so far predicted. So I'm thinking we're going to get a Jose Altuve for this one. Help add some positional balance to these face of the franchise cards. And of course, Altuve represents the Astros. Definitely one of their most known players. We're going with Altuve here for the Astros face of the franchise. On to the Angels. If we got an Acuna 90 overall day one, can we get a Trout maybe as well? We know Acuna 90 overall is coming. His live series probably going to be a 93 to 94. If we have a Trout live series at a 95, 96, I'm all aboard getting us a 90 overall Trout to go along with that. Maybe a little bit of a reach for this one. Maybe go Rendon or somebody of that nature that fits into the mold a little bit more. Maybe Rizal. But give me a 90 overall Trout. I'm here for it. Trout cards are insane. The A's is a tough one. And honestly, maybe between now and when the game comes out, Sean Manaea won't be even on the team anymore. But for now, I'm going to predict Sean Manaea here for the A's face of the franchise. No Marte anymore. No Matt Olson. No Chris Bassett. Not a lot of options overall, but they do have two nice pitchers in Manaea and Montes. Could definitely be one of those. I'm going to go with Sean Manaea here, though, for this one out the gate. Sinker, changeup, curveball, slider, kind of combo early on. As a lefty, could be a really solid pitcher. Mariners here, another situation where it could be one of their newly added players. Could be their new ace, Robbie Ray, but tough to predict if they'll have free agents who haven't played as part of these. So we're going to go with Mitch Haniger here for the Mariners. Always gets pretty solid cards. Never anything too crazy. You can see, though, his live series card alone can hit the ball really, really nicely. If you juice this up to a 90, we could have a really solid outfielder available here from the Mariners, available day one. Rangers dropped $580 million this offseason, so very likely and possible it could be one of Seager, Simeon, maybe even John Gray as the face of the franchise. But without any of those players available, if they're not going to add any free agents with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa gone, I'm going to go with Nate Lowe here, their finest card from this year. Maybe they kind of double back down and get Nate Lowe at 90 overall. Left-handed, sweet swing at first baseman day one. I am so here for that. Could also be Adolis Garcia as well, but we're going to stick with Nate Lowe for the time being. Out of the Braves, we already know it's Acuna. We can see what his 94 live series looks like right now. We can take this, tone down his contact and power just a little bit, get him down to a 90. He is still going to be an incredible card. You're going to be seeing a lot of this face of the franchise Acuna on teams early on. I feel confident about that. I hope if this is the pick for the Marlins, he is not entirely broken and we get another Edward Cabrera situation this year where one pitcher just dominates early on. But a 90 overall Sandy Alcantara out the gate could be a nasty card here for the Marlins. My dark horse pick to win the Cy Young for the NL this year, part of that Marlins rotation, which is very formidable. We know what that finest Sandy Alcantara did. A really, really great card in my opinion. Get this guy a 90 overall out the gate. He may be torturing lineups for quite some time. We may already have one switch hitting shortstop in this program, but I need a second one. Let's go with Francisco Lindor here for the Mets. As I mentioned earlier in the video, live series Lindor in previous games when he started the 86, 87 range. That would be my shortstop for like the first 2 months. So if you give me a 90 overall Lindor day one with that swing, I'm gonna be in heaven using that card. Him and Wander are gonna have to battle it out to see who could hold down that shortstop position. Huge fan of LINDOR. Would love to see him get a cracked out card early on. It could also be the Grom, but I'm okay with not getting more the Grom early on in this game after facing them all during 21. On to the Phillies. Got to get some pitchers in this program. Obviously, Harper could be a really good choice as well. Probably going to be around that 90 overall when it releases. So let's look at Zack Wheeler here. A nice righty, solid pitch mix. A 90 overall Zack Wheeler, one of the most dominant pitchers in the NL. I'm rocking with him as my face of the franchise prediction here for the Phillies. On to the Nationals here. They don't have many options. That's a tough one. Soto already is a 90, so we don't know what his live series is going to look like. Maybe his live series in 22 is also a 90. If that's the case, definitely not going to be Soto for the face of the franchise. But if he's not, this is the card that we could be getting for the Juan Soto face of the franchise card if he is the option. Otherwise, not really sure who the Nats are going to be going with. They don't have a ton of options. Maybe a guy like Steven Strasburg, Josh Bell, somebody like that. But outside of that, not a ton of options. So I'm predicting that the Juan Soto live series maybe starts a little bit lower than 90 overall. We get a nice 90 face of the franchise to use early on. Out of the Cubs, let's take a look at Patrick Wisdom, really coming out of nowhere last year to be a great asset for those Cubs team. We can see big time power hitter. These type of guys can be super meta cards early on in the game. Lower contact, really juice him on the power. Guys like Joey Gallo, Yordan Alvarez from Team Affinity 1 and MLB the Show 21, you may remember, were absolutely insane. This Wisdom guy could fit in the same slot, being able to play third, first, left, and right. Could be one of the most valuable cards from this program if we get a nice Patty Wisdom. On to the Reds, who have traded their entire team away outside of one player. That one player left is Joey Votto. I feel like he has to be the face of the franchise. They don't have anybody else outside of Luis Castillo, possibly. Maybe Tyler Mahle. Not a lot of options for the Reds. I guess they could come in with a Moose as well. A 90 overall Moose day one would be nasty. But my prediction here is Votto for the Reds. Would be a pretty solid card. We got that Lightning Votto last year. A little slept on. I think a nice Votto early on could be a super sick card. Corbin Burns here for the Brewers. Maybe a situation similar to Soto where he's too close to 90 overall to give him a face of the franchise. But I'm gonna rock with Corbin Burns here as my prediction. An absolutely nasty pitcher. We've seen a lot of his finest this year. We saw his player of the month a ton as well. Giving us another early Corbin Burns could be a problem for 22, but he would be nasty. There's no doubt about that. So let's rock with a 90 overall Corbin Burns here as my prediction for the Brewers face of the franchise. Don't know if there's a switch hitter available. I'm gonna say the switch hitter. Let's go with Bryan Reynolds here for the Pirates. Got a couple options on the Pirates, but give me a switch hitting smooth outfielder. I loved his finest this year. Bryan Reynolds 90 overall would definitely be a guy who locks down my outfield. These predictions come through. Give me an outfield of Bryan Reynolds, Byron Buxton, and Cedric Mullins. I don't care what anybody says. I'm rocking that for some time. Last team here in the NL Central, we got the Cardinals. I'm looking at Tyler O'Neill for this one. A lot of options on the Cardinals. It could be Arenado. He's probably going to be close to a 90 overall. Harrison Bader, Goldschmidt. Tons of options for the Cardinals. Really solid team. But I think Tyler O'Neill makes a ton of sense. A lot of people loved his Lightning card last year. Really solid card. I mean, he has awesome hitting stats here. Good fielding stats. He's going to be fast. This 86 live series card is pretty nasty as it is. You take this, juice it ever so slightly. We have a card that could be an extremely powerful card that you're seeing a lot of coming with the show 22. Final division here on to the NL West. This should not come as a surprise. Again, when there's a switch hitter, I'm predicting it. Give me a Ketel Marte. Absolutely demolishes the ball versus lefties. He's going to struggle a little bit versus righties, but at least he's a switch hitter. Going to have that handedness matchup advantage. Ketel Marte could be a guy who can play a lot of positions, dominate lefties. Could be a super awesome card to obtain early on. On to the Rockies. Could definitely be Chris Bryant, CJ Cron here possibly, but I'm going to go with their newly locked up third baseman, Ryan McMahon. I don't know what the Rockies are doing. They spent the money on Bryant. They locked up Ryan McMahon. Maybe they realized they made a mistake in how they handled Story and Arenado. Trying to rectify that some. Not too sure, but this Ryan McMahon, an absolutely glitchy card. Going to be a smooth swinging lefty, crush righties, and have great defense. If we get this as a third baseman early on, yeah, we're going to be seeing a ton of Ryan McMahon this year. He would be an awesome card. Would love to see this. We all remember the Tops Now McMahon from this year. Take this card, juice it up a little bit more to a 90. We're going to be cooking with fire. The Dodgers have 50 million players that are already diamonds, so I'm gonna go with the most known player that they have that isn't a diamond. That's Cody Bellinger, especially if he's a gold early on in the game. Even if his performance has dwindled and he's not the player that he once was for those couple year stretch. One, he's still young, he can get back to that. But two, I think he'd be a card that people would really want to have. A 90 overall Bellinger available early on in the game would be a super popular choice, especially if his live series card is just a gold. So give me a 90 belly. I love belly cards, always one of the best swings in the game for me. I'd be rocking with this card. I'd have to find some way for it to fit in my lineup. On to the Padres now. We're gonna slot in another pitcher. Obviously Tatis, Machado, maybe Cronenworth, all options. I'm gonna slide in another pitcher here. We're gonna go with Darvish as the face of the franchise for the Padres. We need a couple more arms in this program, and Darvish could be absolutely filthy as a nice 90 overall early on in the game. Last but not least, we got the postseason hero for the Giants, and who also had a dominant year just at 24 years old, is Logan Webb. His postseason card this year, honestly, in my opinion, one of the most underrated pitchers in the game. That card is in my final top five pitchers in this game with the pitch mix that he has. A 90 overall Logan Webb out the gate would certainly be one of the best cards available in this game, and I would love to add that to my rotation day one. So those are my predictions for every face of the franchise card in MLB the Show 22. Now let me know down in the comment section below, where am I wrong, where am I right, who am I overlooking, who is going to be the face of the franchise for your favorite team. Let me know down below. As always, you enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, I'll catch y'all around.